So I'm Lisa, I'm their head of HR. So I met Angus and Ross when I was about, well, just 16 in the village. I was working in the village. And I obviously learnt about Saltrock and their little business going up the road, printing T-shirts. So I wanted to go and print my own T-shirt. So I went up there and with their screen printing machine and printed my own talk on the back of a T-shirt and then some down the side of the sleeves. And I think from that moment I was kind of quite hooked on the brand and started spending a lot of time with the boys, getting in the sea surfing and hanging out with some of the friends as well. So then when I was about, I think it was 1995, about 3 years later, I took on a role with Saltrock of a accounts assistant. I did that while doing an apprenticeship at college, studying AAT. So I was working with Angus, who was in charge of all the finances. Ross, obviously, printing all of the, or designing all the prints for all of the T-shirts. At that time, we were buying our products in. So we were buying like, ready-made T-shirts, hoodies, long sleeves. It had a lurch out the back with the print screens, printing all the garments. And we also were dyeing our garments and tie-dyeing out the back as well. And that was at Saunton Road. It was quite a cool vibe. There was lots of surfers, we'd all go off to the sea, we'd come back. You'd have the local guys helping, they'd just come and hang out and then they'd help with the printing or getting their hands dirty and tie-dyeing. It was fun times actually, really fun times. It was a small little cottage industry business, supplying independent surf shops, predominantly in Cornwall. Ventured up to Wales and then Northern Ireland. I think I really enjoyed getting stuck in and learning about accounts and dealing with the wholesale customers, some of who we still have now actually. It was fun. A lot of the guys that were coming and hang out, the local friends who would end up getting involved with the printing and stuff, they would also end up doing modelling for us. It was that, hands-on as such. You had your waxers, who was one of the local surfers that would be doing all of the mad modelling in our newsletters, and Scott Anakin as well as Axel and Phil, who ended up becoming our sales rep. So it was quite a cool little vibey culture, quite very surfy at that time. I think one of my favourite moments was when Tok got bought alive. Tok family was developed. This whole story about them living in a village. You got My Walk and Jack the dog and all of that. So we then developed. They became more real, and Tok went on tour. And I thought it was fantastic. So whether it was people that we knew, people who worked for us, customers, they would take Tok on tour and take pictures of him. So he was pictured, various parts of the UK, but also up the top of Table Mountain in South Africa or Brisbane, Queensland. There was like a picture of him at the lighthouse on like the most easterly point in the world. I thought that's probably my most memorable time, actually, just seeing him visiting different parts of the world. Also, a big sort of milestone for us was when we hit the £1 million turnover mark. It took a lot of work to get there, and really at that point businesses either make it or they don't. So for us that was quite a milestone, and I think we had all of our wholesale customers, and that's before we went into retail and opened up our first retail store, which was also quite a memorable moment actually, because that paved the way to where we are now with 63 retail stores. Right from the beginning stages, we had a lot of local surfers that we were supporting with our product, trying to get Saltrock out there, supporting local surf competitions, like the beginning of the Gold Coast Ocean Fest as well. Also supporting surf schools in Ireland and Wales. We started developing newsletters about probably 25 years ago. They would go out to, that was before we had an e-commerce business. So we had our wholesale customers, but also we started doing little mail order catalogues. So we'd send out newsletters to any of our customers that were on our database as such, to the local community, as well as other sort of stakeholders, I suppose, within our little cottage industry business. The newsletters were great because it really showed what we were trying to do. We were working with, even when we tried to get into the snowboarding market, you know, working with some professional snowboarders, them helping us develop technical jackets and trousers. You know, we did try sort of dipping our toe into different industries. You know, we've had, climbers, we've had mountain bikers, and surfers, as I said. But the newsletters were really about showing what we were doing. We would end up having a day in the life of, even back then, of the few people that worked for us or people outside of the business that were local. Celebrating also our little Saltrock babies, as we all had our children when they arrived, who also then dipped in and were modelling and doing all of that for us. But we also were doing exhibitions and trade shows back then. So even the Gliss Expo down in France, I think that's in some of our newsletters, and trying to kind of get Saltrock out further in Europe, which we did manage to do. Yeah, I think it's really important that, yes, I'm not going to lie, at times, we have lost our way a bit with culture, when maybe different people have come into the business. And I think a key moment was when Michael bought us out in 2018. We were really, really struggling for years. We'd never had the financial backing to really take Saltrock where it deserved to be in the industry. Michael buying us out in 2018 kind of gave us that financial backing that's allowed us to really invest back in our product, look back at our quality and, give the best product we can to our customers, really broaden our product range, but also investing back in our people, growing our people who are our Saltrock family. We have 370 family members now within the business, and it's how we can grow them both professionally and personally. And that's really important to us, and especially for the sort of Saltrock way, our Saltrock culture. So the culture is, as we call it, the Saltrock way. We are one big family. There's always lots of camaraderie. We are one big team, so we all do help out and give ideas to other areas of the business, which is really important because we need freshness within the business to keep growing, and we understand that as a team. We that's invaluable to us. So definitely camaraderie. It's fun. It's a great place to work. I love it. I think what sort of stands out is back in those days how not relaxed, but I suppose the fun side of Saltrock. Our photo shoots for our mail order catalogues were not your normal formal photo shoot. Probably the best memory I have is of Waxer when we stood over at Saunton Rocks, posing. And Waxer actually looks like the Tokolosh. Has this long sort of dready hair. So we got him to sit on the rocks, crossed legs, doing the sort of Tokolosh pose. But there's also our front cover of the mail order catalogue, and it's not something you could do now, where he's actually got his back to us. So you've got the full body line of Waxer with his bum showing, with his hair all messed up like the Tokolosh. And I think those times are fun, where you could kind of get away with showing more of the personality of Saltrock. So we had a little shop out the front, and out the back you had what we called our print works, our printing machine, where Lurch would do all the printing and the dyeing and stuff. And then we had, in the end, we had offices upstairs. There used to be a small office out the back. But the shop was quite an open door to anyone who came in, customers, but also the locals, and they would just come and hang out, after a surf, maybe crack open a beer at the end of the day. But it was pretty cool vibes, really, because people could say, hey, I want that T-shirt, but I want that print faded from blue to purple, or which is what I did actually. And actually, you end up becoming a bit more original, and then those T-shirts end up going out to your customers as well. But yeah, everybody would hang out. It was a cool vibe. What I love about working for Saltrock is we are one big family. We are Saltrock.